All right, you guys, we are back. It's your boy Q, and up next we have Drake pulls up on 50 Cent in Toronto after dissing Rick Ross on stage in Canada. Obviously, Rick Ross got into an incident in Montreal when he played Not Like Us during a festival, and it didn't really go his way. Honestly, what was he thinking? Anybody could have told him that it would have ended like that, especially when you're traveling like abroad. I know it doesn't sound like overseas, but Canada still is a whole nother country. Drake pulled up to a 50 concert, obviously in Toronto, which makes all the sense in the world, being that's his city. Enough dilly-dallying, we're going to jump right into the video. Again, it's entitled Drake Pulls Up on 50 Cent in Toronto after dissing Rick Ross on stage in Canada. King of beef, fam. No diddy.
War international investigator and instigator, not many people hold both jobs, 50 Cent will find his way to Canada to meet with Drake and talk about Rick Ross on stage furthermore. If there's anybody Drake would want on his side, rapping wise, it was Lil Wayne, and now just general war wise, it's 50 Cent. It seems like,
man, they added like 2 more Laws of Power, his adaptation of the 48 Laws of Power. They had like a special edition of 48 Laws of Power with 50 adding 2 more. But yeah, and you know what's crazy? That shirt, if I'm not mistaken, somebody called it out in a comment, and they basically said it was a reference to like Lost in Translation, which is a Bill Murray movie, and obviously Scarlett Johansson. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Scarlett is like underage. But yeah, definitely seems like Drake's been like trolling a lot of this stuff, like putting himself as the 69 God in that bowling game, or this shirt, or the Free Yayo t-shirt that he wore that obviously Eminem rocked. It seems like he's doing a lot that's like pointing out to the fact that he's like re-engaging. Even academics reported that like, oh, he heard the record and basically saying he can't wait for like the sneak diss to come out, which is kind of crazy because after the beef already came and went, to like sneak diss, it sounds kind of weak. Who knows? But yeah, it's not surprising that Drake is at the 50 show in Toronto.
Like Drake is assembling the Avengers.
50 does seem
What's
like
up, y'all?
neutral.
It's your man Talkless World reporting for the Chick Smooth channel. We gotta talk about this. 50 Cent has made it clear that he's cool with people on Kendrick's side and Drake's side.
Exactly.
So he's really just playing the sideline and watching what happens until people.
Dude, his commentary is A1, fam. I'll tell you that.
People like Rick Ross get involved. Then 50 Cent has a bit of a reason to lean towards Drake, because even if they were already cordial, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Rosé.
And as 50 Cent sees it, if you don't like Ross, then you're all right with me. Here's Drake being the happiest he's been the whole year, finally having a friend that's not from Toronto. What are the chances that 50 Cent jumps in the rap war? Probably low.
Nah, 50's not going to jump in the rap war. He might like give him some advice or whatever, or what would he do in that situation. But both those 2 rappers are 2 totally different rappers. Like everything from like the style of music to just like do their persona. So like, yeah, like what would work for 50 might not work for Drake, especially at this point. Who knows? But he does look like, if I were to like jovial, if I were to pick out a word that's not in use all the time, I'd say he's definitely jovial. Look at him. He's like grinning like, yeah, it is his best day he's had since that freaking beef. His hearty laugh that they're sharing. But yeah, man, 50 is definitely going to remain neutral. I think he's just, he knows business, man. He's not going to mess up anything in Toronto, even though he is 50.
I don't think he's going to be rapping against anybody at this point.
Nah.
This seems more like a strategic meeting more than a studio session. And 50 Cent will get on stage and have this to say.
I want to thank you. I want to take the time out to thank you for making me feel so at home.
Yeah, legend, fam.
Yeah. Because some of y'all, I kick Rick ass up. Kick Rick Ross ass, right? So I want to thank you again for making me feel so at home.
Now 50 has this story to always come back to get the crowd on his side anytime he steps into Canada. It's a genius move to use that situation to your advantage when you had absolutely nothing to do with it.
The guy's a beast, and he uses this for marketing too. He's definitely going to plug in whatever alcohol brand he got at the moment.
Does meeting with 50 means the war is over, or does it mean it just begun? Let me know what you think about.
No, the war has already began, obviously. went through a little like ceasefire for a little bit because of a retreat. And it does seem like within the last few weeks that Drake has just thrown a whole bunch of subliminals and sassy captions and stuff like that that basically show that he is going to re-engage. You just gotta like tread very carefully, because if you get trounced on, if you get pounced on like a second time, how are you going to pivot from that? You know, that's like definitely like something you have to think about. Obviously, he still has the powers that be like behind his career. Obviously, Kendrick has a machine too, but Drake's label is helmed by Lucian Grange, who's like, bro, probably the most powerful guy in music. So it definitely helps to have that in your corner. It's going to be interesting to see how he pivots. Does he go vulnerable and he basically accepts his defeat and wonders what's going to be next and gets people on his side? Like, just become relatable, you know? That's going to be telling how he comes back. Like, what energy are you giving? Are you just going to go straight and sub? I feel like subbing right now, I feel like we're past the subliminals and we're past those type of shots like that. You might as well just call their name out. You've already engaged, and you don't want to do something that kind of seems weak, and then Kendrick come and just like nukes you again, you know? So just be wary of that. It's definitely dope to have this like picture with him with 50. It definitely is like, it's very telling. Obviously, 50's really smart. He did use that to his advantage in trolling his op once again in Ross. But like, yeah, I feel like at the very most, he probably got some tips what he should do next. 50 is really smart. He's super strategic, and Drake is strategic as well. He just underestimated probably the biggest assassin in hip hop. Which is crazy because like the dude's been aiming at your head for a minute, so it's really on you if you weren't prepared. Definitely let me know in the comments what you guys think. He really underestimated that situation, and it still seems like it haunts him, and it probably will always be a stain, no matter how like Drake pivots. It's you still, Drake would have to like massively come back and massively like win the war, so to speak. Because obviously I hope this all just stays in music, even though like we don't know. The cops did come out and say that they weren't the ones that like put a stop to the Schoolboy Q show. Was it Drake, who like people say has like a stake in that venue? At the very least, he does business with them, and they don't want to mess up that relationship, you know, especially for like a one-time show or a one-time a year type of thing. It's gonna be interesting to see. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about him, about Drake subtly throwing like little clues that he's gonna re-engage. Because if you look, a lot of this stuff, if you look deep into it, these are subs. It may not be bars or lyrics or whatever, but him posting, Drake uses social media as one of his like weapons in battles, which I feel like any rapper or any person that's going through a feud should use, because doing that you could kind of shift public opinion using that. So it's not just, you're not just relying on the music. You got to just use all your tools. Fuck it. That's the industry. That's the game. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you guys think 50 gave Drake any tips? Do you think he's going to use them? And do you even think they'd be valid for somebody like Drake? The guy has like pretty much been beefing since 2003. But yeah, definitely let me know in the comments. Definitely hit the like and subscribe button, guys. It does the channel wonders. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Channel is going super, super dope. And I'm super appreciative of all love. So thank you guys again. I hope you love the video, and I hope to see you guys soon.